Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday. That means tomorrow is 6 a.m. Breakfast of Champions on Clubhouse, 11 a.m. training. Bring your own questions, BYOQ. Ask me anything. I'll bring the answers. You got it. All of everything I do is on the playbook. Download it. The playbook is on and featured on Spotify, Entrepreneur, every platform, Apple, Google Play. It doesn't matter. You got it. The playbook. Download it. Jordan Montgomery's here. I'll catch him in a couple minutes. Very excited to talk to him. We're going to pin up there how to get in touch with me. We'll pin that there. If you want the exercises, books, guides, if you want to register, just go to david@dmeltzer.com right here. Or a lot of you are joining my text community, 949-298-2905. david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Pin right below there. Thank you so much. But let's get started answering some questions. Welcome, everybody. Advice for a young entrepreneur starting a business from scratch. Understand the difference between innovation and entrepreneurship. Innovation is an idea. Entrepreneurship is executing on that idea to build a business and make money. Business defined by creating wealth and revenue so that you can help other people. Chad Fuller, I saw you and your wife. Good to see you, my friend. And I'm looking forward to spending some time on the baseball field with your incredibly talented son. Hopefully it'll rub off on mine as well. Probably one of the best young baseball players I've seen, or athletes. I wish I was still representing athletes. He'd be the first pick in my draft. Anyway, what are the best investments to make in yourself? Look, take inventory of your values and invest in that. Personal, experiential, giving, and receiving. That's what you want to invest in. Take inventory of your own values. And there are no sacrifices. There's just investment in yourself. So if you're in the why me world, then you're looking at the sacrifices you have to give up in order to facilitate what you want. That's just focusing in on what's missing. And then you're going to get what's more of what's missing in your life. So go ahead, ask your question about being a sports agent, Matt. That's fine. Anyway, so let's focus on making the investment in ourselves and the values that are important to us, the weighted balance of what we want personally, what we want experientially, what we want to give, and what we want to receive. So those are the best pieces of advice that we have. Best piece of advice you've gotten from a business mentor. Oh, I would have to say radical humility and all that goes along with it. Ask for help. Don't take yourself so seriously. You don't know what you don't know. Worrying is wishing for what you don't want. All of the things that are around being radically humble. What's your best investment till date? How did you decide it? 2 investments are best I've had. 1, I own a beach house, which is the perfect combination of making money and just enjoying my life, especially because of the pandemic, which I wasn't anticipating, obviously, to have 2 places to go to create a new scenery and a new world for myself has kept a great capability of a positive mindset, and it makes money. And then, of course, my investment in Overactive Media. We just announced building a $500 million arena in Toronto for our esports teams and tournaments and content. So those would be the 2 best investments that I've made in my life so far. And both were not investments that were vetted in the context of what I was going to make. They were allowing the universe to give me something better than I planned. When I come up with a well-developed plan for my investments, without taking consideration my time and risk tolerance, God laughs at me. So those are the 2 best investments that I've made. One more question, then I'll bring on Jordan Montgomery from the Montgomery Company's extraordinary coach and speaker, just a content person that's helping so many different people. What's the most challenging habit you've created? The habit machine. So I've taken a step away from distinctive habits and I've focused my habit on creating a habit machine so that if I want to do something, I can put it through that machine in order to effectuate enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. All right, we're at 8:05. Remember, tomorrow's training, 6 a.m. is Clubhouse Breakfast of Champions. Join me on Clubhouse, 6 a.m. every Friday with the Breakfast of Champions, my boy Glenn Lundy, and 11 a.m. free trading for everyone. BYOQ, you bring the questions, I'll bring the answers. Ask me anything and catch the replays on the playbook. All right, we are going to have Jordan here. So excited. Really wanted to see him personally here. The virtual intros that we do. Jordan Montgomery and Montgomery Companies. How are you?
I'm doing great, David. Thanks for having me, man. This is fun.
Yeah, very fun for me as well. And obviously, our journeys are very much aligned, and you're empowering so many people. My mission to empower over 1 billion people. A prerequisite to that is to find people like Jordan Montgomery who are empowering 1,000 to empower 1,000, planting seeds under trees that I'll never sit under. But I'm certainly so excited. I was on your podcast a while back. Just loved the insight that you give and the inspiration and motivation. So give me a little bit of background. You do so many different things on the Montgomery Companies.
Yeah, we're in the coaching and consulting business. I do a lot of keynote speaking. So for those that aren't familiar with our brand, we work with a few thousand salespeople on a day-to-day basis on performance, right? Sales training, do a lot of work that you do around mindset, and God's opened a lot of doors. So we're fortunate to get to do this work, and I get to learn from people like you, Dave. Our audience should know this today. You are my coach, and you've been just an awesome mentor in my life. So for me to get to do this with you is just a huge honor. And I do want to speak a little bit about mentorship today, and I'm happy to share our journey and how we got connected and what that looked like. So, but thanks for having me, man. It's fun.
Well, cool, because I want to go on two different things. First, I want to make sure everyone knows the difference between a coach and a mentor, because it's an epiphany that I realized last week. I always would joke around when people say, Dave, are you a coach or a mentor? And what's the difference between a coach and a mentor? And I used to joke around and I'd say $500 an hour. And I, because I couldn't really tell them a difference, but I really have figured it out. A coach is someone that brings the best out of you. So you may not have great talents or a lot of knowledge themselves, or could perform themselves in a certain direction, but they are a person that can bring the most out of you. And then a mentor is someone that has the situational knowledge and relationships that can give to you and help you accelerate what you're doing. So I think that's a good distinction. Before we get into that experience of working with me, I want to go, there's a story I know about you, about what you call your best job. That had the most benefit for you. And, to me, you were a garbage man. And
Garbage man.
I'd love for you to share with everyone why that job as being a garbage man was so impactful in your life.
Well, I think for a lot of people listening, David, they might not be in the season that they want to be in. That's just true of life, that life is made up of seasons. And I think for so many, if you're not in a season that you want to be in, your goal is to figure out what you're getting out of that current season that will prepare you for the next season. And so maybe God knew, or my friends knew, or my parents knew, I needed some lessons in humility. I needed to understand what it was like to work with people who maybe weren't like me or didn't have the same background as me. And so my job, throwing garbage all summer long in 90-degree heat, right? I had jeans and long sleeves, and I mean the whole bit, right? Like we're talking maggots and puke and all this stuff that you would never ever want to see or touch. Like I was in the middle of it. And I just think, man, I learned humility that summer. I learned what it was like to connect to people who were different than me. And I got something out of that season that I needed to move forward. And I use a lot of what I learned in that season, David, I'm using in this season today.
Yeah, It's amazing. It's amazing. I always say, for me, I've always had to take out the garbage, never had it as a profession, but it was the key item that allowed me to learn to love everything I do. If I could learn to love to take the trash out after taking the trash out at my fraternity, 6 kids in my family, if I could learn to love it, not like it, not withstand it, but learn to love it, a mindset and control of my heart set, the way I was feeling about the activity, and the genius of expression to figure out what components of taking the trash out would be a light, a love, or a lesson in my life, then I could do anything. It's a Viktor Frankl type of attitude. If anyone hasn't read Viktor Frankl, you should. Anyway, all right, let's talk a little bit about the journey of, what you're carrying on and empowering others, whatever you'd like to say about mentoring and coaching and speaking, whatever you've learned or would like to teach other people.
Well, the first thing I need to say is there's a lot that I still don't know. So I'm on this journey of learning every single day. But I'll say this, there's a difference, in my opinion, between being coachable and teachable. And there's a lot of things that I've done wrong. You've helped me, Dave, in being more coachable. So here's the difference, right? Most people are teachable. That is, they'll listen to a live session, or they'll listen to Dave Meltzer speak, or they hear you at an event and they go, wow, that was some really good stuff. And so I'm going to write a bunch of notes. I'm going to even absorb and implement what I learned, but they miss the greatest opportunity. And the greatest opportunity is to circle back with the person you learn from and share gratitude. That's the greatest opportunity, because we're not pursuing a conversation. We're pursuing a relationship. We're not pursuing a moment at an event. I'm pursuing a mentor. I'm pursuing a human. And so that opportunity gets lost all the time in our learning. And I see so many people, they hear from a guy like Dave Meltzer and they forget that you're a human. Like, you love when somebody reaches out and say, hey, David, here's what I learned. You taught me these 3 things in your last keynote speech. Here's how I've been implementing those things in my business and in my life. And I just wanted to say thank you. If you'd be willing to spend some of your very valuable time with me, I promise you 2 things. I'll come prepared and I'll pay it forward. I don't know if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you probably won't say yes, but if you did, it would mean so much. I also want to give you full permission to say no, because I know you're incredibly busy. Please know that if you say no, I'll circle back with you in 6 months. So that's the recipe, right? So like, if you want to learn from, Adine Graziosi or Ed Milet or Lewis Howes or Dave Meltzer, like, you're a human. And it's a game of numbers, right? And you've told me, here's one thing you've taught me that has really stuck out. You say we have to ask for help every single day, right? Regardless of how successful you are, regardless of how much you've accomplished, like, we never outgrow the need to ask for help. So there's somebody listening that needs to be reaching out to Dave or to somebody else to say, thank you. Here's what you taught me. Is there any way that we could grab some time? And you should know that Dave will say no to a bunch of people. But I know one of the mantras you live by is, I'm going to do for one what I wish I could do for many. You can't give everybody that time, but I know that you do that for people, right? Like, once in a while, it's like, hey, I can give Johnny 5 minutes. I can give Samantha 10 minutes of my time, and I'm going to do that. I can't do it for everybody, but I can do it for one. And you might be the one that gets time with somebody that you really respect and admire. So to me, that's the difference between being coachable and teachable. You've helped me with that. And my coachable spirit allowed me to get time with you, right? I mean, you were on our podcast. I pursued you like crazy. I went through 6 or 7 people to have you on our podcast. I told my wife, I said, this is nuts. It's like trying to get into Fort Knox to get 20 minutes with David Meltzer on our podcast, but I got it. And then we had this amazing conversation. You become a coach of mine, and now we're doing Instagram Live, and we're working on some other stuff together. And so that's what it's about, right? But it's about taking the shots. It's about being coachable, and it's about circling back with people who've taught you to share gratitude.
It's so true. And, as you develop to provide platforms for those 5-minute conversations, I do 10 5-minute conversations a day, 7 days a week, 10. So there are 70 people that get 5 minutes of my time. I have a 5-20 rule for everyone. I don't care who you are. I make very few exceptions, but 5 minutes on the phone, 20-minute meetings and interviews, as you know. But there's 10 a day, and I try to power through as many as I can. The interesting thing that has brought up what I'm thinking about you is, one, I myself, when I was younger, looking between teachable and coachable, I wasn't a good listener. I had access to extraordinary information from the companies and mentors that were around me, and I didn't ask for help. I was at times an interrupter, meaning we would have a conversation and all I would do is interrupt. Or even worse, I became what I call a waiter, where I was in meetings with geniuses, and instead of learning and thinking, what am I going to take away from this? Where's the light, the love, and the lesson in what this person who has an expertise far beyond my years, that has paid the dummy tax that I don't want to pay, instead of learning, all I could think of is, when he's done, this is what I want to say, right? I was waiting to interrupt. And then I finally became a listener. And I test myself all the time, even on these IG lives. I'll get off with you and I'll say, what was my takeaway? If you notice on office hours, on my TV shows, takeaway of the day, takeaway of the day. Because it's amazing. You can sit there, people will do this to me. Hour and a half speech. They'll wait in line an hour to get a free book and for me to sign it. I'll look up to them and I'll say, so now they've invested 3 hours into Dave Meltzer, right? I will then look at them and say, what was your number one takeaway? Because I'm interested in what's resonating with the audience, and their face is blank. Not one. Like, they invested 3 hours. They'll show me sometimes. I got pages of notes. I waited in line for an hour and a half. Thank you so much, Mr. Meltzer. You changed my life. Okay, how? What's the one takeaway that changed your life? So we lie to ourselves all the time, whether we're teachable or coachable. Take the first step and take notes. Take the second step and review your notes. Third, after you review your notes, at least grab one takeaway that you put into a repository of lessons and stories so you can carry it on and use it. You can teach somebody else, like you said. That's the process of gratitude. That's the takeaway that I got from you, Jordan. And yes, I love the fact that you understand. I say how to almost everyone, but I don't say yes. Right? I'm going to get there. I only have so many 5-minute periods. I try to do my best in a weighted balance. I'll give you an example right now. I'll give everyone my direct cell phone. Jordan knows it. It's 858-688-3294. Don't text me, but call me, and I will set up a 5-minute call with you. Call me at 858-688-3294. People don't call. Even though I'm telling them they won't call, even though I'm offering my cell phone, my exact cell phone, it's not the text number below where everybody can text me, the 949-298-2905 to get the community text number, which is valuable, or my email address. Like, I email you back, david@dmeltzer.com. That's my actual cell phone. That's how much people are afraid to ask for help.
Isn't that crazy? It's crazy, man. And you've taught me this too, right? We've talked about this. If you get the time, two things are true. You got to be specific and you got to be prepared. So like when we're spending time together, and I think this is important for people to hear, I'm not trying to figure out what questions to ask or what questions to bring to the conversation. I'm trying to prioritize the questions, knowing full well that I'm not going to get through all of them, right? But I'm trying to figure out if I get 10 questions, and my brother and I joke about this because we both coach with you. And it's like, hey, when we get time with Dave, like, okay, we got 10 questions. What are the 3 or 4 that are most important? And then you've taught us to be very specific, right? Because specific questions leads to specific feedback. So, if you get 5 minutes with Dave, one of the things that you can't say is, hey, Dave, I'd like a little feedback. And then you give a really general topic, like teach me about leadership or teach me about mentorship, right? And it's like, that's a crappy question, man. Like be specific, be prepared, be very intentional. And you've modeled preparation so well. When you step into the arena, when you're on, like, you're prepared. I know that about you. So you've imparted that to me, and it's made a difference for sure.
Yeah, it's all about those lessons and stories, and you've learned so many lessons and stories. But it's funny because I do Kevin Palmieri and Alan Lazaros. They're two of my favorite coaching clients because they're like you and your brother, right? They just bring it again and again. And we've actually posted that as a podcast. So sometimes we should do you and your brother, and we'll go ahead and record it, and we'll show people what you're talking about, what it means to be prepared, what it means to have specific questions, what it takes to extract value by being not an interrupter, not a waiter, but someone who's a listener, someone that's a learner. Those are two of the same things. If you're not learning, you're not listening. And there has to be this interaction as well, because one of the dangers, now that you've expanded, that you're carrying it on and paying it forward, is it, the lesson that I always tell younger people, not what you say, it's what they hear. There's now another transition that you're a listener and a learner, but then it has to take the next step where not only are you a speaker and a coach and, this incredible personality that can empower others, but you got to make sure what you're saying they're hearing, because there's different frequencies. And that's where I'm at as a transcoder and a transformer of being able to take highly complex things that I've learned through, academics, through intellect, through emotional intelligence, adaptable intelligence, and experience and dummy tax, and be able to transcode it and then let somebody play it back to me so I know that's what they're hearing, even though it may not be what I'm saying. Last thing, what's the best lesson that either you've learned from me or that you like to teach or learn from somebody else?
Yeah, I think you said it earlier, right? At the top of the IG live session is humility is everything, right? And I don't know isn't a sign of insecurity or ignorance. I don't know is a sign of power and humility, right? That's Adam Grant think again. Like I can't learn if I can't first admit that I have something to learn. The paradox of education is real, right? Like the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. And you have humility because of that, right? Because you're a thought leader, because you've been around so many successful people, you carry with you more humility because your eyes have been opened to all that you don't know. So I just think, man, a posture of humility is so important in business and in life. And again, you've modeled that. You're helping me with that. And if I could say there's one thing that you've helped me with, and it's more through your action than through your words, you've just modeled it for me. It's like, hey, I got something to learn. Like I came here to learn today. Even in a coaching session, right? If you're a coach, if you're a mentor to somebody else, approach that situation as though you're going to learn something, and watch that person respond to you differently, right? They're going to engage with you in a different way. They're going to go, this guy wants to learn. He's supposed to be teaching me. But there's a humility there that's so attractive. So that's what you've given to me, Dave, and so much more. But I just thank you, man, for your time, the influence that you've been in my life in a short period of time. And I'm honored to be on this journey with you, man. So thanks for having me today. This is a ton of fun.
That's why I have two words next to my nightstand: radical humility. And I can see you are one of my 1000s. I'm so pleased. It's a pleasure. We'll do this again. We'll have more content together. I will invest in those that are investable and plant seeds under the trees that I know will plant more. And that's who you are, Jordan. Thank you so much. We have at Jordan M. Montgomery. And then you can also find montgomerycompanies.com. Incredible leader, incredible teacher and coach and mentor. Jordan Montgomery, thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
Dave, thanks for having me, brother. It was an honor. Talk to you soon.
You got it. Stay radically humble, man. Stay radically humble.
Same to you, my man.
Take care. All right. The great Jordan Montgomery. I love having guys gone and just learning about people that I work with and learning something I didn't know because I do. I keep things at a pace during the day and I make it happen. And I'll tell you what, I ran out of energy last night. Whoa! That 9 o'clock unwinding routine that I have, my tomorrow starts today. It ended quickly. I brought it all day long from 4 a.m. on yesterday, testing how much energy can come through me. Let's take a quick question before I bring on Min Yang. They call me Ming Dynasty, the Ming Yang, founder of Orchard Info. We're going to bring them on. Here we go. Let me just take a few thoughts on Tiger Woods' future. Well, I've made my career proving people wrong. So my thoughts on Tiger Woods' future is don't count him out because he has made his career on proving people wrong. And that's why he's so exceptional. Make your career on proving people's wrong. Don't listen to other people, what they want for you or what they think you can do. Don't listen to the voices of what you can't do, and don't listen to the voices of what's missing in your life. Vote for what you want. Be like Tiger Woods. Don't count him out. So I do not count Tiger Woods out for sure. Here we go. How do you know when to walk away from a deal or relationship? I don't walk away. I allow the universe to provide me 3 no's, and then I give it a last chance to work. So I will let, if the universe has 3 occasions that don't work out, I let the person know that this isn't working out. And if he wants it to work out, to give me a call. And if not, when it is, give me a call back. 50% of times that moves the relationship forward. 50% of the time I never hear again, which is more valuable than the person that I move forward with, because the person that I moved forward with, I just accelerated the time frame in which I was moving forward on the deal or the relationship, where the other 50% of the time, every minute of the day that I used to spend chasing a closed mind is saved on the open minds. And everybody knows that it takes 1,000 times the energy to re-engineer a vision of a closed mind than it does an open one. So I use the 3-no rule. If you guys want, I have a document, an exercise on 3-no rule. I also have my book. I will send it to you for free. All the exercises and guides. Just email me right there, david@dmeltzer.com. Text me 949-298-2905. It's pinned right here. So thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate you. They call me Ming Dynasty. I love it. Let's try this out. My friend Ming Yang, they call me the Ming Dynasty. Check it out. Here we go. Hi.
Hi, David.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's a funny Instagram name, I know.
No, it's cool. Well, anyway, you've been everywhere, and you're dealing with a very important thing to me, which is communication, especially with my children. So I thought maybe you could give us a little background and some tips on communication.
Yeah, so I started a company named Orchard to help older adults with computers, phones, connecting with their grandkids, kids, or even transitioning from their physical work to remote work, which actually been very surprised by how many people are looking to do that since COVID. And we're actually helping a lot of people retain their job by doing it online. And this all started from just helping my mom and my grandma with their computer, because I realized that without knowing how to use a computer, they actually couldn't really do a lot of things in life, like apply for insurance and things that we think is so normal and we take for granted that they just cannot do.
That's awesome. Can you mute real quick while I talk, because there's an echo when I talk for some reason. So just put a mute on. So I want to share a story with you. If you can mute. Is that happening?
I'm trying. Hold on.
Okay. Hey. I love this.
I'm trying to get all the.
There we go.
Okay, where do I mute? This is so funny because I have not joined an Instagram Live before.
Well, I'm going to add this to your repertoire so that the grandparents can talk to their grandchildren. Here, let's do this. Log in and out, and I'm going to let you back in, and we'll see if we get rid of the echo.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, cool. So I'm going to tell this story while she logs back in. My mom has 16 grandchildren, and she complained to me that my 3 daughters, especially my 3 teenage daughters, didn't talk to her. And I was like, well, they don't call anyone. I said, Mom, you got to use Snapchat. That's how they communicate at the time. And so she said, well, I can't learn to use Snapchat. I said, it will take you about 6 minutes to learn Snapchat. And she said, well, how do you know that? And I said, because my 7-year-old son taught me in 6 minutes, and you're smarter than I am. So take the 6 minutes and learn how to use. Here we go. Let's go. I'm going to get this one here. I'm going to try Ming again because she's so extraordinary with Orchard. And it's orchardinfo.com. But it's amazing how the relationship with my mom. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, this is what a 75-year-old feels like when he's trying to figure out Facebook.
Right. So I don't know if you heard my story about how I had to tell my mom. She thought her granddaughters didn't like her because they wouldn't call her. And I said, take 6 minutes and learn Snapchat, because all 3 of my teenage daughters are on Snapchat. And she said, oh, I can't do that. It's good. And my mom is a PhD in education, right? She's like, I can. I said, Mom. She goes, how do you know it'll take 6 minutes? I said, because my 7-year-old son taught me in 6 minutes. And so I know you're smarter than I am. So you can learn in 6 minutes. How much of the technology transfer and communication is more just a mental block resistance that is harder than it actually is?
I would say actually 65%, because once the common thing that we hear a lot is, wow, when you're here, or here meaning when we're working with them, when you're here, everything just smooths down, everything just works. And it's because having that security, sense of security, that someone is listening, someone is going to be here if they have any questions, going to be here to help them. And they said that once you leave, just all hell goes loose. Just For some reason, and I think really is that the mental block.
Yeah, I was involved in the internet in 1992, and I had to teach lawyers who are some of the most closed-minded people about technology. I actually had Justice Scalia tell me specifically, one of the Supreme Court justices, that people will never do research on the internet, that we need books to do research. Now, as you know, research is probably the primary, most powerful capability that the internet has, is the ability to access information. It's a huge encyclopedia. It just to show you, but I learned a technique called reading, because I felt as if people that were accustomed to, older people, lawyers, to reading, could really understand that the secrets of the internet, and back then it was mostly pull down menus. So what I would start with is say, look, all the answers are in these menus, just like you're at a restaurant. So let's look, and if we don't know the answers, and this is even pre-searching, because as you know, even the older people, they don't even realize there's a search bar there within the context that you can search and find answers. But more importantly, I would just have them read. I'd say start at the top left and read. And it'd be amazing when I wasn't there, what it was. Now, I also found some great business in there because my expertise of being able to know where to find the answers over 20 years have been, an extreme value to those people that are too lazy to learn to find them themselves.
You're definitely right. This is actually one of those niche skills that we teach. We help navigate their eyes in starting from the top left corner and then count to the third row. There you will see block. And really that helps focus them, because I think for someone that didn't grow up with technology, having so many different colors, so many different text blocks on the screen, it's really overwhelming. So reading, going back to the very fundamental, like you said, really, really helps.
Yeah, it's so funny because I think it also is aligned with how habits are formed. I take people back and say, look, let's just look at what you do every day and make a list of the things you do every day. And let's see how you can get better at them, or make sure you do them every day, because both will allow you to get better at them. I see the same thing in what you're doing is, let's take a step back and let's pick out what you do every day and find the right technology to mirror that, to make you what is so important, called more productive, accessible, and gracious. Those are the three things that technology allows. And I think when we talk to people that are aligned or I think experienced, when I talk to them and say, look, this is going to make you more productive, this is going to make you more accessible, and this is going to make you more gracious, being able to find light, love, and lessons in everything, instead of resistance, voids, and shortages that you're feeling now, separation, inferiority, and superiority. Does that sound fair? The acceptance of what they do is incredible. What have you found to be the emotional attractors to compel, older people to try it and to learn it and to love it?
It's breaking that fear. It's the number one. So we actually track, and funny that you mentioned emotions. We actually track what emotions they feel after they work with us, to figure out what is the effect of our work, how we're doing, are we doing well, are we doing bad? And the number one thing that they say that they feel is relieved. And I think it's demystifying the kind of the stress of technology, that it's something that if they press something, it's going to break. That people have told us that now I'm not afraid that if I press something, it's just gonna go kaput. And I think it's helping them demystify that is really, really powerful. It gives them more confidence to be able to continue to explore and do more on their own. And that's what we're aiming for.
Now, the last thing I want to talk about is something that we utilized here on Instagram, as I'm utilizing my training for you in Instagram, but it's also in life, and for especially, people that are inexperienced at utilizing Zoom or PowerPoint or whatever it would be, is that when you get outside of that learning zone, right? We want to take them out of a comfort zone of, I've done this for 50 years, the Justice Scalia, I'll never do research online. I'm a Supreme Court justice. You want to take them out to the learning zone. Oh, by the way, I make fun of Justice Scalia. I know he's passed, but when I saw him later on in my life and he saw me and we started talking, I said, do you remember what you told me about the internet? And I said, my mom told me it was a fad. You told me that we would never do research on the internet. He goes, I said that to you? I said, you did. He said, you don't tell anyone that, do you? I said, everyone I can. And I'm continuing to tell everyone I can that he said that to me. Anyway, but you have this learning zone and that's what Orchard Info does, right? You keep these people outside of the fear or the comfort zone into a learning zone. But if you do, when I'm gone, get into that anxiety zone again, that fear zone, like you and I were getting with the echo, just start over. Turn everything off and just start over. And the same thing holds true in life. You know, if we get out in that anxiety zone, just stop, drop, and roll. Just start over, get to center, get to neutral. And it's amazing. Sometimes it just fixes itself, just like Instagram did for whatever reason it did. And I think that's so important too, to prepare them with, you know, the knowledge of comfort, learning, and anxiety zones, and the ability just to stop, drop, and roll, just start over and put yourself back into the learning zone. And I know that Orchard Info does that and keeps people in the emotional, adaptable, and intellectual spheres of allowing them to expand their productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. Any last things that I missed that you're doing that can help people to assimilate into new platforms of communication?
Not I mean, I could go on and on about this, but I think you're the knowing that there's so much that we don't know that could help us, and I think a lot of people think that I'm good with just email and calling my son once in a while. I'm good with that, but they're missing out so much of there's so much in 2021 that they're not using, they're not experiencing. And I think a lot of us talk about, oh, we want to, what would the future be like? Well, they are kind of living in the future if they're kind of refusing to believe that, okay, I'm going to learn more so that I can experience more, and they're limiting themselves. And so I think having the mentality and saying that, oh yeah, I want to learn what I don't know, I want to see what I can do with that, is a really crucial piece, and allowing kind of themselves to be helped. And I think people are starting to realize that. And so we're the first one that says, yes, we are listening and we are here to help you.
I love that. And I hope everyone joins the new Ming Dynasty. It's growing like the old one was. You can find Ming Yang at They Call Me Ming Dynasty or orchardinfo.com. You're doing incredible work. I appreciate you re-engineering the vision of so many different minds so that we can connect the wisdom and knowledge, situational knowledge, experience of who really can teach us, and the younger generations especially. So thank you. Come back and join me, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you for having me, David. Bye.
Thanks, Ming. Bye-bye. Wow, what an awesome, awesome person. Okay, we were talking about takeaways for the day. And, you know, with Jordan and Ming, my takeaway is radical humility, which is always the two things that sit on my nightstand. We don't know what we don't know. One of my favorite things about my conversations with people that are world thought leaders, the Bob Proctors of the world, the Deepak Chopras of the world, I'll even put Gary Vee in there with those guys. They always say to me, Dave, I don't know anything about that. There you go. I can help you find out, but I don't know. So we don't know what we don't know. There's a billion different variables and facts out there. Join me after this at JA Worldwide. We are going to talk about 2-minute drill and honor our winner of the Impact Award on the Bloomberg hit series 2-minute drill, Amazon Prime Video hit series 2-minute drill. And we have our JA Worldwide Impact Award winner, Ann Rice with Play on Sports. Sally Ann Rice is the winner. We'll honor her there. JA Worldwide going live at 8:45 a.m. Training tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific. We got Clubhouse, 6 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. We got a lot going on. Just email me or join the text community. David@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Exercises, guides, books for free. Join me, please. And if you miss anything, it's always on the playbook. Just download the playbook, featured on Spotify, Entrepreneur, everywhere, Apple, and all the different platforms, Google Play, etc. Junior Impact Award, 8:45. I'm going to take one more question, and then we're going to move on with our day. What's the best lesson you learned from watching your parents? Well, I learned two different lessons. I have two different parents. My mom, I learned gratitude, always to find the light, the love in the lessons. And from my dad, I learned free thinking, that don't listen to anybody else. My dad was Jonathan Living Siegel's, just amazing. He was a person who followed his dreams, Don Quixote. And my mom was the work ethic, gratitude person. So some amazing lessons there. And I learned a lot from my grandparents as well. Sally Ann Reese, thank you, Sally Ann Reese, will be our Junior Impact Award winner, 8:45 a.m., 5 minutes from now on Junior Achievement IG Live. Sally Ann Reese with Play On Sports. Thank you, CEO of Play On, PLAYYON. Thank you for fixing my pronunciation, Mikey. Join me tomorrow, 6 a.m. Clubhouse, always there. You can reach me, or 11 a.m. training, the playbook, download it, 2-minute drill coming up. All right, everyone, that is it. We'll see you tomorrow. See you at 8:45 today. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Thank you.